So what I want to do is go through a few sample scenarios of increasing complexity, covering various different bits of functionality, just to really drill home that basic understanding that we've tried to show there. So the first one is understanding primarily rules, but then also a little bit on the weightings as well. So the scenario that we've got here, and hopefully this little graphic makes sense, is we've got a customer that's logging into their account on your particular storefront. Now, this storefront has various different rules associated with it. And what we want to do in these example scenarios is investigate if our customer is able to access particular products. So what we'll see on a lot of these examples is we have a customer, we have a product, so we're assessing whether they can access, and then we'll get to a particular rule, and then we'll see how it proceeds from there. So our first example on the left-hand side here is with a scope and target that's not related to this particular customer. So our customer that's logging in is UK-based and is a non-administrator. And what we'll see is if we've got a rule which has an administrator scope and, well, relates to just our product, our administrator scope does not match what that customer is involved in. So our customer is non-administrator. So what that means is that this rule just fails evaluation and does not match that particular customer. So therefore, this particular rule doesn't apply in this scenario. Easy as that. On the flip side, on the right-hand side here, is a rule that does match the particular scenario. So we've got a non-administrator scope, and we've got our product. The rule passes evaluation. We decide then whether or not we're giving or denying access to that particular product. In this case, we are giving access so the customer can view the product. Hopefully nice and easy. The opposite is also true though. So we can, even if a rule passes evaluation, as we've seen as we set that up, we can still deny access. It's not just immediate access granted. So even if that customer and the product combination rule passes evaluation, we can still deny access to the product. Now we have another scenario here, which is where two rules are applying to the same customer and product combination. So just a slight variation on the example we saw earlier on. So where a connection is subject to multiple rules, evaluation will proceed from maximum to minimum weighting of those rules. So what we see here, we have a higher weighted rule, which passes evaluation and grants access to the product. We then have a lower weighted rule, which still passes evaluation and denies access to the product. However, because this rule is lower weighted, it is ignored. So what it essentially means is that this customer will have access to that particular product, regardless of the fact that this rule says it shouldn't. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me just go into my storefront here. I've got a lot of tabs open. So this is that scenario unfolding, and this is one of those storefronts I've given you access to if you want to take a look at this later on. So I'm viewing the storefront as that particular customer now that we've been looking at, and we can see that they are able to view product 4, which is what we're expecting here. So this is the 4th product we're working on, and they are able to view it, even though there's another rule saying they shouldn't be able to view it. And then that other scenario we talked about where there is equal rule weightings applying to the same connection. If they are all granting the same access, then that will be adhered to, that will be followed. If they are providing conflicting access, then it will deny access to that particular product.